In rock and roll mode, I see.
Or I have an eye issue, so it's like sunglasses or an eye patch, and we're going with sunglasses.
Yeah, I actually prefer the eye patch, but that's your decision. I have to tell you, honestly, I was delayed because I got word that Gary Donzig died. One of the creators of Hannah Montana, partner of Stephen Peterman, who helps us with the Christmas Carol,
Oh
and
man.
he also was instrumental in my daughter's situation. So I just got word, and I was just wrapping up a phone call with Stephen, who you may have met at our event year in and year out, and I just had to give him a few minutes. And I
Sure.
ended with
Yeah.
the words, if one more fucking thing happens this week, whoever shows up with bad
Don't
news at this, I'm
don't
kidding.
say that. It always brings like worse shit when you do. It's like a
No way.
challenge to the universe.
No, brother, we're turning this year around and we're turning it around right the fuck now. Like enough of this. We're actually going to have to up tempo our work ethic and we're going to have to start punching back. This is our rocky moment. We're against the fucking ropes, but we're going to come back and we're going to show Clubber Lang what's on that Clubber Lang. I liked him. We're going to show Apollo what's up. Actually, I liked Apollo too.
Like that's three. Now you're back to
No,
two.
we're
Yeah,
going to
one
show
and
the
two.
commie. We're going to show the commie
Yeah.
Drago
Ivan
what's up.
Drago. Yeah, yeah. Hell
He's
yeah.
going to get a taste of it. How are you, man?
Good. Am I good with the? Do I need to flip it?
No, you're vertical.
But I want to be horizontal, right?
Okay.
Isn't
Oh,
it
there it is.
supposed to be like that,
Oh,
right?
wow, man, what a step up. Now we're finally
Yeah.
starting to master this after 15 episodes together.
Right. Yeah.
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Tired. It's been a long
All
ass
right.
day, but
And,
I'm
and
like,
this is and
let's
this
do
is
it, man.
yeah, this is late, so let me bounce into it. All right,
No, no, it's cool.
everyone can thank me now because your your requests have been honored. We brought back the legend, Evan Uncanny, known as the Haunt Keeper, an instrumental part of both our show here and our charitable work. In fact, you've probably seen him around town if you go to places like Not Scary Farm or Universal Halloween Horror Nights. He's the mayor of those places. And we're getting together today in sort of emergency fashion. It's late night for us, but we've lost a friend this week, Robert Carradine. Uh, well, the news is about 48 hours old at this point. In fact, I released our last conversation with them with some film clips, and you and I happen to get be talking today in the
Hmm.
midst of other fucking glorious news without getting into the details. And we decided, well, we should get on the air and say a few things about him. He was a nice human being. I'll start there. And he did have a pretty interesting career. You know, he was an action guy before he was the nerds guy, but most people know him as the nerds guy,
Right.
right? Revenge of the Nerds. But do you have a favorite? Do you have something that comes to mind when we talk about Robert Carradine?
You know what's really funny? I recently went to see. It was like a God. Was it a double? It was a double feature. John Carpenter double feature at the great Gardena Cinema. And shout out to Judy at the Gardena Cinema. It's a fantastic place.
Right on,
So
Judy.
yeah. So they Christine was the first movie, and
Awesome.
it's
Good
it's
choice.
probably the loudest presentation I've ever heard in a theater. Totally blew me away. And then the second was A Secret. And they're like, "Oh, it's a made for TV movie." And we're like, "That's probably is it Elvis?" And it ended up being Body Bags.
Okay.
So Robert Carradine's in the first segment, which is I think the best of the three. They're all
Is that where he
and
gets
also
crushed? Is that where he gets crushed?
yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah. And Peter Jason's in that shit too. And he's like
Oh,
makes the best of his time and David Naughton's in that. It's really cool. Oh, Wes Craven's in it also. He has a little cameo.
awesome. I've never seen it, but Carradine told me about it and how much he loved doing it. He thought that was the coolest death scene Peter Jason obviously very much missed, and at his memorial, Carpenter came out with Sandy King and spoke. Not only spoke, but he was part of the whole thing. He didn't go out the back door after talking. He was in the reception, mixing it up with. It was such an odd visual in a sense because Walter Hill, Carpenter, Frank Marshall, producer of the Jurassic Park movies, and husband to Kennedy, who's constantly under fire.
Sure. Yeah.
But
Produced a lot of great movies, though.
yeah, smart woman. They were all there in the lobby, and I'm glad you saw that, and I'm glad Peter Jason was in it because I can't see Peter Jason without a smile coming to my face. I just laughed so hard, and I love Christine. I love Carpenter's soundtrack to that.
Oh, yeah. Well, the rock and roll soundtrack's amazing, and then
Yeah.
his score is amazing too. That movie just like it when the lights went out and like the movie started and you heard the engine revving.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
holy shit, that is so loud. I was like, we're in for a treat, man.
yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be amazing.
I am so glad you saw that, and I think that may be his finest score or my favorite score. I don't know. People have their
Yeah,
own.
it's really good.
People love to go to Halloween. Escape from New York's fantastic too. I mean, has the guy ever done a
Same.
bad score? No, he has not. But
I love Assault on Precinct 13. I love it.
I do too. You
Yeah.
can, for whatever reason, I have to watch Assault on Precinct 13 on Halloween. I don't know.
That's cool.
I don't know what the misfire is in my brain, but that movie goes on every Halloween, and I think it's interesting because that was shot in Venice, most of
Oh
it,
yeah.
but the parking lot where the gang attacks from is across Ventura Boulevard. It's the old the parking lot now for like the with the metro system.
Ah, I gotta
Andy
check
King was
that out.
telling me that. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that they really did do a lot of real basic but clever filmmaking tricks to pull the whole thing off. And I told my daughter that, and she was like laughing out loud. She's like, "You really thought those guys were in front of a police station?" I'm like, "No, that's a director saying, run, slide, shoot this way.
Yeah. That was
Come
his
at me.
first too. I mean, I
Yeah,
think Dark Star was like kind of an expansion of his US, like a
yeah,
short
yeah,
film at USC, and then like Assault was his first like big movie. And I don't know, it's just I think it makes sense to watch on Halloween. It's basically like
yeah.
kind of like Night of the Living Dead. It's the same claustrophobic, like
Anything Carpenter on Halloween is you have to pick something. If not, try and jam it all in a film festival setting.
sure.
I love everything he did, and Halloween just seems so appropriate. A fun fact about Christine, I'm pretty sure Terry Leonard was the stunt coordinator on that, who was John Milius's guy, who I worked for at Warner Brothers, and he came through the office and told me once that he broke every bone in his body twice.
Oh no.
He's also, I think, obviously Ray Indiana Jones a few times, but he was. I'm pretty sure he was also the guy who's blown out of the Huey on fire in Apocalypse. I think that's
Oh,
also Terry Leonard. But he did all that driving without being able to see. I mean, now you'd rig that up with a couple of cameras and you just look at
oh.
a monitor. But he did all that driving. He wasn't able to see shit with that car on fire driving it. They did that out here in Valencia too. That whole
Oh,
death
that's
scene.
crazy.
We have
Yeah.
we have a surprise coming too from a Christine cast member coming soon. So I'm glad you led with this. It wasn't planned, but I'm glad you saw
Nice.
this.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah,
Yeah, and
the car on fire is such an incredible visual image. It's just like I don't know.
incredible. The music, the setting, the whole thing. I mean, these are the oldest high school students I've ever seen in my life. But whatever, man, I buy it.
It's
I buy
true.
it.
Buddy the Bully, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, is this Jim Morrison? Is this Jim Morrison stealing this guy's line? Um, However, it is a great movie, and I actually, Stephen King purists will hate to hear this from me, but I think it's so much better. Carpenter's creative decisions in the film were so much better than the story.
Happens a
Uh,
lot, man. It happens a
yeah,
lot. Sometimes Stephen King goes a little too dark with shit. I remember watching Cujo like kind of recently
oh,
and actually really enjoying it, but I'm like, Stephen King 100% killed that kid at the end of the book. And in the movie they're like, we can't do that to the audience.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's something to be said about it. I hated the ending of what's that one that Darabont did,
mm,
The Mist. There's
me
moments
too.
where
I
I'm like,
hate that shit. I turn it off actually as they're driving away. Like that's the end of the movie for me
I'm
because I
done
just
with
find
it.
it so unbelievable that anyone would shoot their kid like that. Just like
You
no
know,
way, man.
but Christine is just one of those films. I mean, I know it's a slow burn. I showed it at a Halloween party in junior high on video cassette, and honestly, the party couldn't hang with it. They were I should have shown Halloween. They would have been right there from the start. Oh, there he is.
I don't know
Someone,
what's happening. Best, but it's all falling apart. My eyes fucked up. You know, I got whatever doing. You know, whatever.
the audience is highly forgiving towards the Haunt Keeper. Look, we get it. We get it. I do love that we're talking about Christine because it never gets old. Kurt Russell's brother-in-law has a credit as the second assistant director, Jack Philbrick. And incidentally, that is the first guy to give me my start in show business when he was working on Picket Fences, Jack Philbrick. So shout
Oh
out to
yeah,
him. I
yeah.
didn't even know he worked on Christine. I went my entire childhood knowing this guy, not knowing he worked on one of my favorite films. He never really talked about it, but he certainly would if you asked him. It just never came up. And then I saw him on the credit. I'm like, damn, Jack Philbrick is everywhere. But anyway, yeah, Christine gets a thumbs up, man. I love the score. I love it. It's all shot in the valley in Valencia, and it's kind of I do love that about Carpenter that he worked L.A. for everything except for Escape from New York, obviously some of St. Louis, but and
Yeah.
of course The Thing, but just to shoot in Pasadena for Halloween or Venice for on Venice Boulevard for Assault. You got to love a local guy. Not that
Yeah,
he's
Wizard
from here, but
Sierra Madre for the fog, at least for the church, and then also
yeah.
the bucket.
All right, so we were talking about Sierra Madre, the set for the Fog and Halloween 3. Didn't they do some Halloween 3
Yeah,
out there?
the Buccaneeer, that dive bar in Sierra Madre
Have you
is in
been to it?
Halloween.
You've
I
undoubtedly been
have,
to it.
God, back in like 2018 or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was sketchy. I'm like, oh man, yeah,
Well, we when the fires hit Altadena last year, we were working a relief center right next to the cemetery for Halloween, and of course, we were taking a break, and I told other volunteers, I said, "That's where they shot Halloween." They couldn't buy it; they couldn't believe that. But I walked them up at some point. The cemetery is actually remarkably small, and they shot it in reverse. Like, if I remember right, Donald Pleasance kind of enters, like drives in towards where you would actually enter, but it works for what they needed, and it's a fun scene, and all those headstones are right there. It's not the best detective work by a cemetery keeper and a psychologist in a movie that I've
sure.
seen, but yeah, I love
That
that they
that
walk up.
cemetery guy always starts talking about he's all that family. The guy he went and got himself a hacksaw. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
Donald Pleasant's like,
yeah.
"Hey, enough of that shit, man. Just shut up. I don't want to hear the." And you
Well,
never hear the rest of that story.
I
You
love
know,
when they get there and they go, "Which one is it?" Well, which one do you fucking think?
the one
like
that's
like
missing.
if we
Yeah.
have to, if we
Why
have
do
to
they
count
do
this
it?
out, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Why do they do it? If we have to count the headstones to
Like
know
that
which
shit
one is
happens all
missing,
the time. Yeah.
yeah, like like he starts counting off the headstones, like one, two, Judith Myers. Like what the fuck?
Done.
Thank you, Holmes. Thank you, Sherlock. Now we can get on the case. But it's so funny because we had always had the argument, like, does he go up and steal the headstone? The timeline is a little vague to me, though I love the movie. I'm not criticizing it. I have a great time watching it. But is Michael Myers masked up when he steals the headstone, or is this before he rips off?
Damn, I've never
Yeah,
thought about that in my life, but now I'm like, and now I'm like, have you seen the original Nosferatu where he's like carrying around his own coffin and shit?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
he's like loading that into the back of the station wagon, you know?
Right, right. And he's driving
The
around in a
suspension's like dropping a little bit because it's so heavy.
and is he driving around in the mask? Because he's got the mask when he's
Yeah, no, he
across from the
is.
school. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking driving around with the mask. You see him doing that
So
shit.
then my question is the timing of the burglar alarm. Obviously, that thing went off way late, but whatever. Look, this is a movie I love, and that's the first thing I want to
Same.
point out.
Oh yeah,
Before
yeah.
before people decide to jump down my fucking throat in the comments, I love this movie, but I'm just asking some questions. So, and I think the next Halloween movie that needs to be done is one from Michael Myers' point of view. Like he gets into town and he's like, "Oh, these high school bitches ain't gonna kill themselves." And
That's
he's
right.
like,
Yeah,
he
we're
gets the mask and then he's driving around. He shows up at multiple schools. There's a missing tow truck driver. Like, there's enough signs. Then the headstone's missing. Loomis gets to the sheriff, right? Brackett.
hmm
And by the way, Brackett is like, he's like, Sheriff, I need a few minutes of your time. I think there's the most dangerous homicidal maniac is on his way to Haddonfield. And like we see the station wagon with the Smith Groves emblem on the door pull item, and the sheriff is like, "Give me 10 minutes." It's like, wait a minute. Like you would think, like if you're the sheriff, it's like, okay, we have a guy in a mask showing up at multiple schools. We have a missing tow truck driver, and we have a psychologist in town warning us, and also who says that a headstone was missing. Earl, maybe we call in the state troopers and see if they can. Can we cancel everyone's leave and bring them back into the
No,
station?
that's way too efficient. You gotta
Yeah, I guess so. I
don't
guess so.
keep it small, man.
Yeah,
You
he's like,
know,
yeah. Or do you think Brackett goes, whatever it is, I can handle it. But I love that.
they bring in they bring in the fucking FBI at a certain point, right?
Do they? They should. Well,
yeah,
they
a
do
certain
later,
number,
right?
whenever people get killed and the FBI comes in, they take that shit away from the local police.
I remember it's like then his daughter pulls up and they're like, there's no way Brackett knows you're smoking dope. This guy is so dense to the world around him. You could cough it up in his face. He wouldn't get it because they're like, I think he smelled it. I'm like, this guy has no idea what's happening in his town, this sheriff. And by the way, I worked with Chuck Cyphers, so that's a story for another day. Fun actor.
Another Assault on Precinct 13 alumni.
Yes, and Escape from New York and Fog. He delivers in all those movies.
That's
right.
And
he delivers in this. But of course, when you say, did he think it out? Like, did he put the headstone in the back? Does he walk it through town or put it in the back of the station wagon?
I like the station wagon lowered suspension thing. I think that's great.
I like to think it's like dragging across the pavement.
Yeah, exactly. like it's so busted out. I don't know how the fuck he picked that up. I mean, whatever. He's got evil supernatural powers or some shit.
But I love that you have all of this going on, and then Brackett goes, well, the only thing missing is a rope, a mask, and some knives. So who do you think it was?
Who would want?
Maybe it's this motherfucking homicidal maniac we've been warned about.
It's like some Chief Wiggum shit. Yeah.
It's like that whole Simpsons where, we saw someone murdered with a couple of puncture wounds in his neck. As a precaution, we've
most likely
damaged.
A mummy.
Exactly. We've destroyed the Egyptian wing of the museum as a precaution.
Yeah.
It's like exactly that kind of like police work. But you don't have a movie if you can't get through the setup, right?
Fun. It's true.
So,
yep.
But also a couple of other questions. Like that guy comes back from trick or treating, right, Tommy? He's in his space outfit, and then that's when they carve the pumpkin. And like Lindsay's already watching TV. Like, what is going on in this neighborhood? Like, what is the timeline here of events?
Man, I have never considered any of this shit, and you're blowing my mind right now.
Like, I hate to do
like,
it.
Whoa.
Well, I mean, come on. Like, look, if any kind of like, let's just play like armchair detective here. It's like, wait a minute. Lindsay's on the couch watching The Thing.
It's
the
stuff.
Hawks version. I know it's the version they don't think that Hawks isn't credited, but it's the version Hawks clearly directed. A Carpenter favorite, of course, so it's obvious to see why it's in the movie, and he's got good taste. Then, what's her name is killed in the laundry room. Well, in the garage, she goes to the laundry room.
Annie Brackett, yeah.
And Michael, by the way, is not a very efficient killing machine. Like he's loitering way too long around the crime scene before he makes his move. But she's like watching it, and like, the boyfriend's calling, and it's like, wait a minute, is Halloween over? Because she's not in a costume, and then like later. Jamie Lee Curtis is carving up the pumpkin. I'm like, and he's in his costume. It's like, wait a minute. What hour of the night is this? What is happening here? Like the whole neighborhood's asleep by the time he reveals himself, right? When Tommy flips out and he's like, he's across the street. It's a
yeah. That's true. The timeline's kind of off, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's again, it's a fun movie. It's an absolute classic, and I love watching it. I've seen it probably 100 times. It never gets old. My kid and I laugh out loud watching it. We have a great time. I would love to see something from Michael Myers' point of view, where he sees Tommy and he's like, shh. And Tommy's like, fuck you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, arguably, I guess that's kind of what Rob Zombie was trying to do with his movies. But kind of, I think he kind of over-explained. Although, I mean, he kind of tried to make Michael Myers more of like a serial killer than like a supernatural force. And I think by over-explaining things, you remove the mystery and thus remove the scariness of shit.
It's a classic mistake, and it's one I'm against. I don't need to know I'd rather imagine the backstory of my favorite villain, Darth Vader, Michael Myers, than have to have someone show it to me. And I do love the mysterious supernatural aspect to it. I do love the fact that there's a bit of a machine here. And I mean, I even like to watch part 2, which I think Rick Rosenthal directed, right? Rosenthal directed that, I think.
Was it? I think he did, and then like, didn't they have John Carpenter come in and like fix the movie basically?
I don't know. I know Carpenter sort of. Carpenter, I don't think wanted too much to do with it.
He
Rosenthal
did.
directed
Yeah,
it,
that's the
and
story that I've heard. And he wasn't excited to get involved with it, but he did anyway, and was kind of like, oh man, yeah.
Carpenter is so inventive. I get it. Why would you want to do the same movie over when you have as many ideas as he's got?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at the machine. Look at the production line that guy put out, even when the industry was against him. And I mean against him meaning they wouldn't really just drop the financing. They felt like he was marked by failure and he had a hard time getting the funding at times. But the guy is so inventive. Like, why would you want to do a sequel? Why would you do part two to Halloween or the thing when you've got like, oh, I want to do all these other things, And he was, by the way, Carpenter, of course, and Sandy have supported our charity from day one, so we love him for that. But he was always there for Peter Jason and Robert Carradine.
He gave him
They
a nice
always
nice
kept it.
tribute. Yeah, yeah. I read
Yeah,
he had a post on Instagram. I read what he had to say. So, loved working with him, and he was a great guy, which I
he
thought was cool.
he was, and he's actually really good in Ghost of Mars when he's like giving him he's in the scene with Jason actually. He's like, here's your
Oh, what?
copy.
Really? Oh man,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, he's in Escape from LA.
yeah,
He's throwing knives at
uh,
the
yeah.
special forces guy they killed or whatever. And I think that all that shit shot at the Orpheum Theater.
Makes sense. Makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. And Carpenter appeared on his podcast and talked about Escape from L.A. The thing about Escape from L.A. that I liked is Carradine revealed that Jason was only scheduled for like a day or 2 days, but Carpenter gave him some kind of contract that allowed him to work for weeks on the show, like paid him for weeks. That's what
That's
kind of friends they were, and that says a lot about Carpenter and Sandy King, by the way. For those people that are looking for where people prove themselves to be decent human beings, it's in moves like that.
hmm
Where Peter it's like, Peter, I got 1 or 2 days for you, but we're gonna pay you for 8 weeks. Just stick around. Oftentimes, though, Peter told me, like in the case with Ghost of Mars, he would earn his keep because he shot all the special features for that. He's like, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna just stand around. I'm gonna
Yeah, I remember
shoot.
you told me about that.
Yeah, yeah. So he shot all that stuff, and you
That's
saw
cool.
Peter Jason in the balcony of a Carpenter concert once. I think we
At the
used those photos in the
Orpheum.
show. Yeah,
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 at the Orpheum
yeah.
up in the balcony. That was geez, I think that was 2016.
Yeah.
That was the first time he came out and toured, and um I think he was playing with Daniel Davies and his son Cody Carpenter at that point. I'm not
Yeah.
sure though. I don't know. It's such a long time ago.
Brilliant show if you can catch him. And he is a supporter of our charity, so we love him. God bless him for that. But I will circle back on Robert Carradine. I knew Robert Carradine as an action guy from Long Riders. Long before we saw him in
I
Revenge of
still
the
need to
Nerds.
check that out. You mentioned it so many times. It's
Oh,
like
Well, we just uploaded like my final conversation with him. It was just appropriate to put something out there.
Sure.
And I opened it with that clip of him, like them trying to ride through the building when they're ambushed, and he takes the spill. Well, his stuntman takes the spill. But he got a chance to demonstrate some action chops, and it's so funny when he was cast as Revenge of the Nerds. I don't know, maybe like a year or 2 years after that. When what Long Riders was 79, Nerds was what maybe 82 at the latest, right? Wasn't it or something? But
Yeah,
he
something like
said,
that.
he said, I saw him as that, and he really became that character as well. And that was obviously the Gravy Train, because I don't know how many of those movies he did, but I love that scene in Revenge of the Nerds with Bernie Casey, where they invite him to the party, and he plays the music that he thinks Bernie Casey will appreciate, and it's like swing low,
Oh
sweet, and they're just like,
no.
yeah,
Uh,
But this is one of the things that's really frustrating about this situation with Robert, given the loss, is he was so funny. He was so funny even as a human being. He's funny in the movies, but he was funny just in life. And you think a lot of these funny ideas from Revenge of the Nerds or whatever he was in on were some of his ideas. You feel like they were genuine. You would feel like they were genuinely his ideas. He was humorous like that. He was a rascal. I had lunch with him at Mel's, and he was telling me, man, he was telling me about how he didn't know when he was young. He didn't hear about the art of the onset affair, and he had fallen in love with Melanie Griffith on a movie, and he couldn't understand why, when the movie ended and they all got back to L.A., that why she would never call him back. He couldn't get that. And he was just telling me that like last month at Mel's,
uh-huh.
this story about her. And another unique moment we had is on the show I produce at KABC with Lance Sterling, who owns the Saban and the Canning Clubs. We had Robert on. We brought him on as a guest going into A Christmas Carol to advertise it and talk about his career. And one of the people he first got a job with was with Martha Davis of the Motels, another friend of ours, and he's in the Only the Lonely video. I think it's either Only the Lonely or Suddenly Last Summer, but he's in one of the early Motels videos. And Martha was on the week after he was on, and we talked about this. We said we just had Robert Carradine in here. We got to get you guys together because Martha was getting ready to play the Canyon. She's like, yeah, bring him out. And we just couldn't make it happen. And you think, God, that'd be kind of funny to have like Martha Davis, lead singer of the Motels, reunited with Robert Carradine from the video backstage before a gig. One of those epic ideas, of which we have
Yeah.
many, that we just can't pull the trigger on for whatever fucking reason, moving parts and you know, moving parts and, whatever we're dealing with. But anyway, I'm glad Carpenter put out a statement. Have you put out your statement yet?
Oh, I just did story reposts and
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, just really sad news. And then just to hear more of the circumstances around it, I'm like, oh man, it's a bummer.
These things are never easy. And look, we can relate. We understand.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
one of the things you and I were saying earlier is like, look, let's kind of have an agreement between you, me, and whoever else in the group needs to have it, that you make one last phone call before you make this decision. And at the very least, let's at least give you a chance to tell someone to fuck off, if not maybe a little bit more. Because whatever someone's going through, at least leave the world around you with a sense that maybe they can help before you cash out. Yeah, my heart breaks for Keith, his older brother, who also did A Christmas Carol with us.
Sure.
Because Keith is such a kind, level headed individual. Like, I mean, obviously, my heart breaks for his kids and everyone in the mix. That goes without saying. But for whatever reason, I just thought of Keith like, fuck, Keith's lost two brothers now. And this is the way the world turns. We get that, but just for whatever reason, I fixated on him. I felt really bad for him. You know, I remember he warned me. I don't know. Whenever Keith was doing A Christmas Carol years ago, Peter Jason and I called him from Roscoe's to ask him to do it. Of course, Peter Jason, whose wife was a vegan and insisted Peter be a vegan, has me sneak him out to Roscoe's, which I did on a
Hey, it's
regular
good eating.
basis.
It's a good
Yeah.
place.
I'm
Love,
ashamed
love
to admit it.
Roscoe's.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to admit it. I snuck him out there all the time. And from there, we called Keith Carradine. And I remember he agreed to do A Christmas Carol. And we were talking to him a little bit later about it, going into the prep of it. And Robert Carradine came up and he said something like, since he's had his accident, because Robert was like a race car driver, motorcycle enthusiast, he was like, he just hasn't been the same. He was that open about it. He's like, he just has not been the same, whatever the same was. I didn't really know Robert Carradine too well yet at that point to really pinpoint what he was saying, but I did get him. I did get to know him pretty well. We got him in the Whittier Film Fest to screen Brigade-One, another one of the movies directed by Sam Fuller where he plays Sam Fuller. We did that screening for Senator Bob Archuleta, who actually gave everyone in A Christmas Carol an award from the state of California. Cool. If you were on the technical team, he awarded you a special merit badge for being a caring human being in this charity circumstance. And we did that for Robert, and we saw him at the reception and the party the night before, and then at the screening the next day, and he was having the best time. It just goes to show you may never really know.
Yeah.
So be open to getting a call, and the other thing I've learned too is I take these calls now where if you call me in the middle of the night, I will take that call.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just feel like nothing good. You're not calling me in the middle of the night to ask me how I'm doing. So I always will take the call. And look, man, there may come a time where we have to scramble on someone's behalf, and so be it. It's not a big ask, but I just wish more people would find the inner strength to reach out in these times of desperate need. Give us a chance to really be your friend.
Yeah, show up for you and help you however we can, right?
So exactly. I mean, Peter called me all the time when he was going through his cancer diagnosis, and every time I talked to him, I thought it might be the last time, but at least I have the privilege. We just lost Gary Donzig today, co-creator of Hannah Montana, who works closely with Steven Peterman, who does a lot of work for us on A Christmas Carol. And it's like the casualty rate is high, but if we're going to turn the situation around for anybody, there's got to be a system of dependency. Like, it's okay there's no shame in dealing with any of this. Bipolar disease. Maurice Bernard is bipolar, openly bipolar, who played Marley this year, and he's got a show about it called State of Mind. There's no shame whatsoever. And understand, though, that we as your friends, and I'm not speaking to the ghost of Robert Carradine, I'm speaking to people out there who may be suffering in silence. We want the opportunity to prove we're your friend. Maybe we should just cut to some fun nerd clips to kind of get us out of this.
You're like that. Yeah, man. Jeez.
As you know, we have no chapter at Adams College, which is why I've agreed to see you. But I must tell you, gentlemen, you have very little chance of becoming trilanders. I'm in a difficult situation here. I mean, after all, you're nerds.
According to your bylaws, you have to take us on a 60-day trial basis.
I beg your pardon?
According to your bylaws...
He's right, Yuan. Any group that petitions can become a probationary tri-lam chapter.
May I see that, please? Thank you. Well, gentlemen, you are now probationary tri-lambs.
Hey, great, Yuan. Why don't we have a party? You can come down and celebrate with us and observe us to make sure that we're tri-lam material, okay?
Great.
We won't let you down either. I bet you we'll have the highest grade point average of any chapter you've got.
And we certainly won't discriminate. Our chapter will be open to people of all races and creeds.
And sexual orientation.
Wonderful.
There is some good ones. I put some in another previous broadcast, especially when they're doing like the Devo mock-up. Do you know that?
The music finale. Yeah. Like I was trying to watch it earlier while I was eating dinner, and it was unavailable. I'm like, God, what the fuck's going on? I have it on a Blu-ray, but it's not on my streaming thing. I'm like, come on, man. They had 2 and they had 3. I'm like, I want to watch the first one.
It was available up until the news broke, and then of course these pirates jumped on it and decided they were going to cash in on his death.
Yeah.
Absolutely shameless. It is funny, though, that Bernie Casey's in it because he's another Carpenter alum from Mouth of Madness. And he also played Felix Leiter in a Bond movie, if you remember. The shitty one. Where there's actually a few of those. There's a few of those.
We love him anyway, though.
Yeah, the one where Connery came back and did a remake of his own movie for whatever reason, Thunderball.
Nah, what? God, it's something like you only live twice or something like that. I don't remember.
Never say never again.
Yeah, there you go. You got
Why
it.
would you do that? Why would
I,
you?
I don't know. He voiced Bond in a PlayStation 2 video game also. So
He behind the scenes. So at Warner Brothers, it's not a secret. One of the contributors here is former vice president of Warner Brothers, Bill Daley, and he said he loved Sean Connery and everything. He would never work with him again.
oh,
He said Sean Connery always made a point of suing the production company, suing the production, and with Bond, we know it was particularly sticky, especially when he was closing out his career there. But why would you go back and do like a remake of a movie when there's already another guy in the Bond drive? Like, why would you just create so much havoc and do a movie? I think, honestly, to be totally candid, is subpar at best. It's a subpar Bond effort. Why would you do that? Does anyone have any answers? Of course, we're gonna have a bunch of.
I don't know. He
answers.
wants the attention, wants to stay relevant, wants a little taste of the good old days.
Or does he just want
do
to
that shit
cause
all the
havoc
time.
and do or does he want to just do a rival production to stir everybody up?
Could be that, but I mean, it's a totally
Shameless.
legit thing that people come back and they're like, oh, let's do another sequel, or they can't I don't know. Not everything needs a sequel. You got to know when to leave the party in life. You got to know when to leave the party and not linger and stay around. Do what is it, the Irish goodbye, where you just disappear? That's you don't want to overstay your welcome in any regard at all.
That's not just an Irish goodbye, my friend. Trust me. But it is funny because we were talking about Halloween, and then we're talking about the needless sequels. And God, there's some movies.
Yeah, there's fucking 13. There's 13 Halloween movies, man. I'm pretty sure. I think it's okay. So there's the original 8, and then there's the 2 Rob Zombies, and then there's the trilogy that they just did. So yeah, there's fucking 13 Halloween movies.
And
wild.
Look, I would take 13 if they were even remotely decent, but they're not.
There's highs. There's some that are pretty good. The Mask is shitty in 4, but the movie's pretty good. But 5 is not good. Neither is 6.
I get that one has a bit of the old vibe and it kind of brings it back, but I still don't think,
It's got like a stupid action movie though with he killed. Oh, hey, yeah, she was involved with your show or something? Like she gets killed with a shotgun, she gets stabbed with a shotgun.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She's still living off the convention circuit from that movie, so God bless it.
Yeah.
I that one I appreciate because they needed something to get it back on track. Look, I think actually the third one is a pretty inventive movie. It's a victim
I
of its
love
title.
Season of the Witch. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And what a legend it was to get Dan O'Heatherly in it. Because he was such a classically trained actor with such a great resume. Like he was Robinson Crusoe, and he was in Failsafe, and you have this real
RoboCop.
Yes, and all the actors say RoboCop later, though, right?
Sure.
Speaking of our boy Kurtwood, who did A Christmas Carol.
That's right. Clarence
You got a
Boddicker,
great
baby.
shot. You got a great shot of RoboCop walking backstage to meet up with him.
Oh yeah, no, I just turned my head and I'm like, dude, I'm following him in. This is going to be amazing. It's one of those things where you see something start to happen and you go, this is going to blow up if I catch this. And
you cannot turn your back on A Christmas Carol because you never know who's going to come walking through backstage, and that's one of those moments. And Kurtwood was such a good sport about it.
He's cool. You even dropped that line, man. Yeah, give me my fucking phone call. Yeah,
you got everything. All right, so everything you hope Kurtwood Smith would be, he is.
He's so cool. Yeah, he's super, super cool. Super nice.
He is. I remember he shows up and he's sitting with me in the green room, and we had to divide up the green rooms in the Saban. And so me, the director Keith, Kurtwood, Clancy Brown, and I think either Adrian Paul or Maurice Bernard, and Dietrich, we were in one room. But none of the other guys were there yet except me and Clancy, or me and Kurtwood. And he's sitting there and he goes, so what's expected of me? And I told him the rundown, like, look, get with wardrobe, pick out what you want. And rehearsal at 2, then dinner. We'll try and make it as quick as possible for you. He looks at me and he goes, 5 days, Ethan. You give me 5 days to get ready for this. And I go, what do you want, Kurtwood? It's 4 more than you need. Now get the fuck on stage. And he's just started laughing. He immediately broke the ice. And he's like, all right, I understand. Like, there's no pressure here. Like, let's just have a good time with this. But it really kind of showed the human side of the actor. We've seen him our whole life. In Star Trek as villains, and when you're in a room with him, the way you hope someone is exactly how he is. He is fun. He laughs about a lot of. He was in total pain, but a total pro. He had a back issue, and he was still everywhere he needed to be. Go like a Shakespearean master player, man. He
He was
just
cool.
lived it. Yeah.
Took pictures with everybody, even like signed some. People were like had like I don't know, some guys like randomly had like RoboCop Blu-ray slips and shit. I'm like, you're gonna ask him to sign that? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. I just got a quick picture with him, but I'm like, a little bit. He did it all though. It's cool.
I'm gonna tell you, Sandy King is a class act.
She was really nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, this is so random, but it's so cool, man. So
No, Sandy King is a class act. She has her own merits as a producer, and she's got her own skill set, which is high caliber. But she is a class act as a human being, and that was really evident at Peter's memorial, and in doing a show with us about Peter after he passed away. She was, she and Peter Jason were friends for 51 years.
oh wow.
She would say he was her best friend. And at the memorial, my daughter, had Peter was like her uncle. And you may have seen in the memorial video at the event that we play or just online that he ends it with a song on his guitar that he recorded for my daughter when she was in the hospital. And, when we were at his memorial service, it was so emotionally charged, was all the right, there was so much love in that room. But my daughter was struggling with it. The emotions get the better at you. And she approached Sandy to say thank you for what she had done for her charity. And Sandy King could not have been more gracious. She was so good about it, so good at talking to my daughter and saying, we will continue to help you. And I love that Peter was involved. And it was just, you can tell. Look, we get pretty good working in Hollywood to tell the muck from the shenanigans and
Right.
and vice versa, but you could tell she was genuine. So I'm not surprised at all that she had that level of class when it came to
So she like was randomly, oh, do you need to use the restroom, sweetie? She's like, come on, I'll take you. And I just took her to the fucking backstage restroom. I'm like, what? So cool. Yeah.
That's what I liked. She worked on The Long Rider. She was a script supervisor.
Yeah, you were telling me that. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was interesting to see her sitting next to Walter Hill because Walter Hill's not known as to be a people person. My friend actually, Steven Spielberg used to live right next door to Walter Hill on the beach. It might have even been Broad Beach Road, but at one point, Steven Spielberg burned down part of Walter Hill's beach. Did I tell you this?
No.
He burned down part of Walter's beach house, and a guy that was my roommate here for a number of years, Mark Marshall, was Spielberg's assistant, and he's like, I have to go down and get video of it from Walter, and I'm 100% convinced Walter Hill's going to kill me. He's going to murder me. And of course, he goes down there, and Walter couldn't have been nicer. And my boss, John Milius, had written some scripts, Extreme Prejudice and Geronimo, for Walter, which I still think Extreme Prejudice is a remake of The Wild Bunch to a degree. But and so I was able to talk to him about that John a little bit, who's got his own health circumstances he's dealing with. But it was just interesting to see the room of personalities. And Robert Carradine was there. Robert Carradine was in the room. I gave Robert a hug, and wow, we have a hard time staying on track. But we've just lost so many people that there's just so much therapy here.
All good, man. We're just flowing along here. It's all good.
So getting back, though, to the loss of Robert, because we still circle back to the epic Peter Jason any chance we get. But if you were to turn on a Robert Carradine movie tonight in honor of him, what would it be?
I mean, I tried to turn on Revenge of the Nerds, but I just couldn't. I got to pop in the Blu-ray, So, it's a 20th Century Fox movie, right?
It might be.
Disney owns it then, huh? Yeah. Maybe it's on Disney Plus.
Well, Disney is known for being shameless.
Take that shit's ours, man. Yeah.
Well, I just remember when the allegations dropped on Michael Jackson, Captain EO was out of there. But the moment Jackson was dead, Captain EO was back in.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
And I just remember saying that is so shameless. Like, if any of these allegations turn out to be true, yes, that attraction should be pulled, but that attraction should never go back in. Like, let's at least have a sense of decency.
Oh, they sold the shit out of merch too.
Yeah.
All this Captain EO merch. I remember all that. I bought most of that shit. Yeah,
Did
I was
you?
just I did. As a kid, I fucking loved that show, man. It blew my mind. I'm still bummed. Like the Tomorrowland is a shell of what it once was. You know, they don't even use that
Yeah.
theater anymore for anything.
It's too bad. They should. You know, that was a big deal. And Francis Ford Coppola and Lucas put it together. You know who
Yeah,
worked on it?
shit.
Harrison Ellenshaw. Harrison Ellenshaw worked on it.
Yeah, it's an incredible group of creatives behind that thing, man. You know.
And it was special in its way. I remember seeing it going, not bad. I'm not a Michael Jackson fan, although I respect a lot of his music, but I'm like,
Sure.
not a bad, short film for what
And
it's
random
worth.
Angelica Houston appearance too as the villainess. You know,
Yeah.
the weird forks and knives on her fingers and shit, or whatever the fuck it was.
An underappreciated actress. You know, I know she
Oh,
lives
yeah.
in the shadow of her dad, but she underappreciated actress. But yeah, that's got to be available somewhere because isn't that streaming someplace? It's got to be.
Captain Neo? No, bootlegs. You got bootlegs of that for sure. But I mean,
We don't know anything about that.
yeah, I mean, it's like, oh god, it's like now we're getting in like the lost, bad Disney attraction decisions of like getting rid of the original Star Tours. That was just fucking amazing. And like Paul Rubens is the voice of the what's it, Rex? I think Rex, right? Captain Rex. Good shit. Yeah. Those two were kind of like, I think, together in my mind, Captain EO and the original Star Tours. And you can see bootlegs of both of those things. I think there's YouTube uploads of shit like that. So not the same as the ride, though. That experience is lost forever, sadly. So
all right. So I'm actually someone who thought that the ride did need an update.
whoa.
If we're talking about the original Star Tours.
Sure, yeah.
I think you can bring it back for a ceremonial reason here and there, but I did get to the point where I'd like been on it so much I thought they should probably kick or build additional ride scenarios.
That's a fair point. Totally a fair point, but I think they should have kept maybe like, I don't know, it's like a coin flip or like, I don't know, 25% of the time you're going to get that original one and then do the other. But they did like, it's all CG and then they're like, how on the nose can we get? They're like, let's make C-3PO the fucking pilot now. It's like, come on, man. You know,
they do appear to be getting lazy about this Star Wars catalog, don't they? And I know people get insulted when I use that term, but this is starting to feel these projects, these rides, even the land, it feels really lazy.
Well, they're gonna after it's been almost 10 years, but finally they're like, hey, let's do original trilogy shit now. That's what you guys like, right? They're like, we're finally gonna have Darth Vader in the fucking land after 10 years. It's like, and Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. Come on, man. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna see it, but I'm just like, shit.
Of course you are.
Of course I am. They've got me. Yeah. They got me in their clutches.
You know, I can't believe they didn't do a Hoth Echo base. Like, that was so obvious to me. Like, they should just do like an entire Hoth experience. And with Wampas, nope.
That was the original
new.
plan. That was the original plan for the land. And you mentioned this person earlier in in this whole conversation. Like, wanted to make it, theme it around like all of their movies and their shit, you know. So, and it went really well. We're all very impressed.
I got a report though from the Haunt in Vegas. That's the year-round. Have you been to it yet?
No, I have not. No.
So from what I heard, very reliable source. It's a little overpriced, but they're trying. They're probably not there yet, but I was waiting for your review. I guess
I'm
supposed
sure
to
that's
go on. Yeah.
Shit, around God, it would have been August. Midsummer Scream. I had this crazy idea. I'm like, I'm gonna do everything in one weekend, and then Midsummer Scream invited me, so it was free, and I got a hotel room and all that. I bought my own hotel room or whatever. But I'm like, okay, so I don't have to drive all the way out to Vegas and do all this stuff and try to make it back, whatever. I'm just gonna enjoy the weekend in Long Beach, and that was it. So
smart though. Let's take a little bit of the pressure off. I mean, it's not unusual for people listening. I'll tell you, I will call Evan, and he will be like, dude, I just left Not Scary Farm and I'm on my way to Horror Nights and I'm going to see if I can actually bounce back to Not Scary.
That was Halloween. It's a
hyper aggressive schedule with you, so I'm not surprised that you were trying to knock it out, man. Props to you for having the the right sort of mentality. So I'm going to make a couple of recommendations.
Sure.
I'm gonna make a couple of recommendations for those people who want to honor the memory of Robert Carradine. I would certainly say Long Riders because it features obviously his two brothers as well as Stacy and James Keach, another Christmas Carol veteran. In addition to Keith Carradine and Robert Carradine, Nicholas Guest is also in it from Christmas Vacation.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
Margot. He's also in the movie. So
Wrath
you
of
got
Khan as well.
Yes, Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
The Mains are back online.
Right.
And Trading Places.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes. So I would recommend that because you get so many Christmas Carol veterans in one package. But Nerds is also a fun movie to look at. And I'd also say Big Red One with Lee Marvin, where he plays Sam Fuller. The movie
Mark Hamill's in that also.
He is.
Yeah.
And we screened it at the Whittier Film Festival. And we saw it on the big screen and it was nice. I'd recommend that as well. And it ends for all of us, right? But it's always a little jarring when that end is before anyone expected. But there are some great memories out there and there are some great projects out there. And those are my three, but I'll leave the closing thoughts to you.
Oh boy.
You'll probably say, let me guess, Escape from LA.
No, like he was really great in Body Bags. It's kind of interesting that was the choice surprise movie for the double feature that we saw at Gardena. And it was just a cool event, and that was the highlight. There's 3 segments. I love Stacy Keach, and he's in the second one. He's very good. And then Mark Hamill, oddly enough, we're talking about like crossover shit with Carradine and Mark Hamill being in Big Red One, and then Mark Hamill's in the third segment. But yeah, I think it's like ranked as far as 1, 2, 3 how they go. But yeah, Robert Carradine was really cool in his segment, really creepy, and his death, being crushed to death by the car, was fantastic. Yeah,
he loved it. He would talk about it. He thought that was the coolest death scene, if not just of his career, of in death scene lore. But also, it's not a great film. But he does show up in Ghost of Mars, and he's got a couple of fun moments. And
the way you do that, you're like, ah.
I just, honesty.
Same, buddy. It's all good.
Look, if there's one guy I'm rooting for who's one of my favorites, it is John Carpenter. I'm not going to deny. And him and Sandy, of course, have supported our charity. So I think, but I can't also, if you want to know my opinion, I just feel like that movie, for whatever reason, doesn't really hit the mark for me. I've heard other people say it's their favorite film of his.
It's like an Escape from New York. I'm sorry, no, Assault on Precinct 13 vibe, kind of. It
does feel like he remade his own movie, which in itself is a tribute to, I think, Rio Bravo, which is a fantastic film, and I know a Carpenter favorite. And who doesn't like Rio Bravo? If you don't, shame on you. But also, Escape from LA, it's funny because I have a theory about that, where I think the studio, Carpenter went to the studio and said, I've got an idea for a film. And the studio said, fine, we'll make it, but we need a sequel to Escape from New York. And I know from working at a studio in a feature development department, that's how they think. It's always about sort of how can you mark up the real estate value. And so I'm sure Carpenter said, I hate doing sequels and I don't want to do a sequel. So what I'm going to go in is I'm going to pitch all the crazy ideas I got. And what they're going to do is they're going to tell me, fuck all that, just make your movie. So he went in there and he's like, and there's a basketball game. And then he's surfing, in Hollywood. And then we'll have Pam Grier, but she's actually a man. And then we'll have Bruce Campbell. And he starts throwing all this stuff out there.
Jack Malone.
Jack Malone.
Hershey. Yeah, that's good stuff.
And by the way, Harrison Ellenshaw, who worked on Captain EO, worked on Escape from LA as well, one of our favorites around here. And I think he pitched all this crazy stuff, and the studio was so tone deaf. They're like, that's great. Go make the movie. And
the finale's in Disneyland. They don't call it Disneyland, but it's clearly, like a bootleg Disneyland, which is great.
Hey, I don't think you needed to end up there. I think you could have had the whole movie take place there. I think that would have been great. Like, just stage these shootouts on your version of Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion. But I think it's just so funny that it just feels like a movie where like Carpenter walked away going, "Damn it, now I got to make all this crap."
He had so many good people in the movie though, like cameos and shit. It was cool. Steve Buscemi's in that movie. Like, yeah, like
Peter
Peter
Jason,
Fonda.
Stacy Keach,
Yeah,
Peter
Peter
Fonda.
Fonda.
It's endless. It's endless. George Corfus. I mean, El Leong went down to the set. I think Gerald
Yeah,
Washington and James
right.
Liu are in it. Jeff Amata shows up.
Cliff
Uh,
Robertson's the president, right? Isn't that right?
of course, because
Yeah.
if you need someone evil, you're gonna get flowers for Algernon, Cliff Robertson, who was brilliant, by the way, in The Devil's Brigade. If you are looking for a Cliff Robertson movie, there's several good ones. Devil's Brigade is awesome. But yeah, and the movie is what it is. You got to have a sense of humor to watch. The whole thing is kind of a tongue-in-cheek approach, anyway. At least that's how I saw it. So
Yeah, same. I love it. I think it's a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah. So there you go. Maybe you go watch um, Escape from L.A. or Ghosts of Mars. You can go in any direction in honor of Robert's memory.
I
You
do
can
want to
go.
watch Revenge of the Nerds again. It's been a while. So
The guy had talent. The man had
Mhm.
talent, and despite circumstances, I knew him for the most part, to be a class act. So obviously, in a week of challenging moments and bad news, this was obviously terrible news to get, but we do have a great batch of memories and a great batch of movies. And the legacy is good. The entertainment legacy is good. So his father, by the way, never said no to a movie job. Fun fact: his father, who was even Dracula at one point,
He's in The Howling also, which is a
he
great.
is, he is, he. The story was, and Robert confirmed it. His father never said no to a movie job. You could have offered. He never once said, "I'm not doing it." It was always yes, yes, yes. What am I? I'm a plumber. I'm a werewolf. I'm a detective. I'm Dracula. It was
So-
yes. And there's something admirable and lovable about that, though. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think that's great,
Yeah.
What a variety of things to leave behind, it's so cool.
Yeah, which is why I think he has like 400 credits or something. But take a moment and appreciate the arsenal of entertainment Robert Carradine gave us. And listen, remember, there is there are people out there who want to be of service to those people who may be suffering. Don't suffer in silence. Give someone the opportunity to be a friend when it fucking counts. You know, don't just appreciate the good and the fun, which we all do, but when it gets dark, man, reach out. That's my message. I'll leave the closing words to you, though. Evan Uncanny, the Haunt Keeper.
Yeah, I think it's good to have space for uh, all the moods of your friends. Not everybody needs to be happy all the time. We can hang out and be a bummer. We can all be a bummer together. It's fine, man.
Yeah. Look, there's plenty of places in California where you can go around and be a bummer collectively.
I recently, like, a friend of mine was like, kind of like, I just told him, hey man, come on out, be morose, be bummed out, let's get a couple drinks, fuck it, and he's like, just
Right.
relieved he didn't have to be on that night. You don't have to be on all the time. Just be yourself. It's fine.
Yeah, and I think that's key. It's okay to be you. You don't have
Mhm.
to be anything different. And that's something too I think the actors struggle with because we've seen so many of them in social settings where people barrage them for autographs and pictures like during dinners
Yeah.
and I think
Well,
it
yeah,
does
you're not respecting, they're not on the clock and you're not
yeah,
respecting their time and they don't owe you anything. So,
right. Yeah, rule number 2 in my Hollywood list of rules. Rule number 1 is if you don't know in a meeting, especially in feature development, don't pretend you know. Just stay fucking quiet. Rule number 2 though is never bother anyone when they're eating. Just don't
Oh,
do it.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Don't if you see a celebrity in a restaurant, if you see them eating, never bother them. You can say hello or I respect your work when they're coming, when you're passing them in the entryway, when they're leaving, but never while they're eating. Never approach their table. Never. I don't know how we broke this down into a Hollywood handbook of behavior and rules, but we did. But
Etiquette. It's etiquette. It's all good.
etiquette, yeah, yeah. But look, we know. Evan especially knows how to read a room. Me, not so much, but Evan does.
I do okay.
You do okay. It's good to see you, buddy. Happy
Good to see you too.
2026.
Yeah.
Anything new on the horizon people need to know about?
Oh, well, you got that the Bride movie, which is like a Bonnie and Clyde, Bride of Frankenstein, Maggie Gyllenhaal movie coming out. It's like
I mean, that's what I needed. I've been asking for that for years. Where's the Bride, Bonnie and Clyde film?
I remember just like seeing early pictures of it going, what are they doing? And then the first trailer, I'm like, looks kind of cool.
You never know. It may surprise us. So that's good. What else?
I finally got around to seeing Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which was fucking amazing. I thought.
Good,
I think it was
good.
a masterpiece. Yeah. I had a first time I've ever been to the Chinese theater. I got to watch it on IMAX, and then
What?
they did.
You?
I've never been. It's crazy. I know. But what an introduction, honestly. And that theater is just amazing.
Everyone needs to experience the theater at some point. I went there for Batman, and there's a couple movies.
Cool.
I also saw Harlem Nights there with Eddie Murphy, and I have to admit I slept through most of that one. But
sure.
But the audience can be fun there and can kind of make an average movie a much better experience. I saw something I'll recommend in closing, actually, on Netflix. A friend of mine, a top Netflix director, actually recommended this. He said, the galley sheets for a book I wrote called No Quarter Kill All Masters, shameless plug. They were floating around. They were floating around the studios for a bit, and Netflix was one of them. And so this director goes, "There's something on Netflix you got to see. You're gonna either love it or despise it, but it kind of has the feel of your book to a point, and it's called Last Samurai Standing. It's a 6-part series. I actually thought it was pretty good. The director and I kind of talked privately that, you could make the argument that some of this actually comes from something we were working on or not, or coincidental, but it's worth seeing, Last Samurai Standing, and I would recommend it for anyone out there. I'm trying to think if I've got anything else. I don't. So we'll leave it at that, I guess.
I got 2 more things.
What do you got?
So, Scream 7 comes out this week. Scream 7 comes out this week, which people love Scream. So there's another one coming out. And then also,
so before you get to your second thing, I should say,
Sure.
Do they open up Scream 7 with just a dead horse dropping out of the sky onto a stage and everyone kicking it, beating a dead horse?
The only thing that I think is like, it's shitty how their original plan for this sequel fell apart, the way it fell apart, and they just kind of scrambled to pull whatever together, and I didn't particularly dig the last one. I mean, I like a few of the movies in the series, and I'm sure I'll get around to seeing this, but
I think you know what you're getting by now, but continue. But
Yeah.
It's going to be fun for some people, so go ahead.
Well, that's it with movies. The other thing is they did Queen Mary Dark Harbor did a Valentine's Day haunt that was pretty cool.
Oh, good.
They're repeating it the 13th and 14th of March, and I think tickets go on sale this weekend. So
Is that? Oh, that's cool. That's a good idea. My
Yeah.
my daughter really enjoyed that haunt. She thought it was one of the better ones. Her one complaint was the restroom setup, and I think they need to hear that because that's something that can be corrected. And if it's something that's
no porta potties for me, please.
yeah, let's.
Although
let's
for
work-
this event, it's all on the ship, so you don't deal with any of that at all. It's smaller. It's a
Is it a
smaller.
Is it a St. Patrick's Day theme?
No, it's basically we have 2 Friday the 13th. We had one in February, and we're gonna have one in March. So they're just doing the same haunt, but Friday the 13th in March. So
Because
boom.
there's your chance to bring in Warwick Davis and go with a leprechaun theme. You have your moment.
That's a
You
good
have it.
idea, actually. It's kind of fun. Yeah.
There's a lot of fans, and one of my buddies directed one of the movies. I think it's Leprechaun in Space. Brian Trinchard Smith directed.
I'm a leprechaun in the hood kind of guy.
Oh, my family loved that. They laughed out loud at that. They laughed out loud at that movie. And it's good to hear your family laugh, so it's kind of, you kind of appreciate those movies that can pull that off. So, all right. So Dark Harbor in March, Friday the 13th for the second time in 2026. Well, for all things haunt and adventure, Evan Uncanny, the Haunt Keeper, find him on Instagram. He's got everything right at your fingertips. Have you been to Dark Universe?
No, not yet. No.
Let me know when you go. Let me know.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe end of the year or something. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, listen, don't make any plans for yourself on November 20th because that's Christmas Carol, Combat Radio Christmas Carol for a Cure number 6.
Nice.
Yeah, make sure you're available because if we know one thing about you, it's you have a tendency to capture the magic, my friend. You're good at that.
It's true, man. I just always in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it's uncanny.
It is uncanny. Correct. You got it, buddy.
Hey, man, much much respect for you getting together with me to do this last minute and doing it late. It was good to talk to you today.
Oh,
Thank you for your
happy to do it, man. Always.
and also, in all sincerity, thank you for your message this week. A lot of people reached out over Robert's loss, and it was nice to hear from people. It's nice people showed that they cared.
Sure. Yeah.
So you are, of course, a class act, and we're indebted to you. The Haunt Keeper, ladies and gentlemen.
They come out of darkness, sometimes with thunder, sometimes with lightning. Their presence means death. The prison master was afraid of him. The guards were afraid of him. The town was afraid of him. Lucifer is coming for you. Rest easy, Jack Carr said in a low tone. You're in the final 30 seconds of your life. No quarter. No quarter. Kill all masters. Coming soon